What we did see last night was normal service resumed, I think, Simon. Manchester City went to Brentford and won by 3-1. Looking at it, Simon, looking at the scoreline, I mean, they were a goal down, sure, but is it the same old story about to write itself again in the Premier League? Is this Manchester City coming back and they're going to head in the right direction and win the thing again?
Well, I mean, there's no reason why Manchester City should decline.
Yeah.
They buy better players. Their manager's still fully focused. They've got the best centre forward in world football. It's expected. It's incumbent upon the others to raise their game. So it's not. I don't think it's fair to say same old story, same old service being resumed. It's everyone else has got to be better. If you're relying on the decline of Manchester City, then that's not what football should be about. But it should be about your ascent. So I think that there are 3 teams in this title race: Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City. I think the least likely of them to win it is Arsenal, but they're in it.
But if it is 6 titles in 7 years for City, it will be the same old story.
Well, only because the other teams aren't doing enough. And Manchester City are an elite side that very rarely come around in the manner that this team has come around. They're able to acquire players to keep on improving. Your boy Doke comes in from one of the Dutch clubs, isn't he? And you've got Mahrez going out, and nobody misses a beat. Haaland's been out, De Bruyne has been out, yet the side has been built. Look, it's incumbent upon Liverpool, it's incumbent upon Arsenal, it's incumbent upon Manchester United, it's incumbent upon Chelsea and Spurs to make this league and make Manchester City move from being the best team. If they don't drop their standards and their manager doesn't drop their standards and he doesn't lose his energy, because God forbid managers lose their energy, then why would it not be the same?
Okay.
I don't look at it as Groundhog Day. I don't look at it as a monopoly. I don't look at it as a disappointment. I think it's a call to action.
It's hard not to look at it from a monopoly point of view, Simon. As I say, if they go on and win it, it's 6 titles in 7. It is a monopoly. They have monopolised it.
But only because others aren't doing enough. And that's incumbent upon them.
Maybe they can. Maybe it's because City are just brilliant.
They are brilliant. But then again, other teams have to keep on building and keep on getting to a point where they challenge Man City. Man City, I would be more concerned if Man City were running away with the league with 20 points. And that's not necessarily the case. Man City are a very good side. They do what they do. Why is anybody surprised? If the other teams, if the only thing you've got to worry about is the 2 games you play with Man City, and the other 36 games a season are still your gift. It's your gift. Yeah. If you can't beat Man City, if you're Liverpool or Arsenal and you can't overcome Man City, which, by the way, they can, it becomes about you and what you're prepared to do in the other 36 games. And that has nothing to do with Man City. That's to do with you and what you're prepared to do and how good you are.
Okay. It's to do with Brentford as to where Brentford are. Now 7 defeats in 8 league games. You look at it, Simon, 13th and 9th in the first 2 seasons back in the Premier League. They're now 15, 3 points clear of relegation, albeit with a game in hand. Cause for concern there, do you think?
Not really. I think they've got a very good manager. I mean, don't forget, the return of the all-conquering hero. He's back now. So Ivan Toney and that well-deserved round of applause that he got for getting himself banned for 8 months and letting everybody down. And he'll lead them to salvation. They've had a couple of difficult games. I mean, what do you expect Brentford to get from Spurs and from Manchester City? Not a lot. And of course, I know that the games before that, they haven't won many games. I think Thomas Frank is a good manager. Yeah. I've heard people indexing him to the Liverpool job. I don't think that's the right fit, but notwithstanding, I think he's a good manager. They've got players away with the African Cup of Nations that have impacted upon them in recent times. I think they'll be fine. But then, people have set standards for Brentford, which is 13th and 9th in the league. They're now 15th. They've got a game in hand. They win that game in hand. If they do, they go up a space. I don't see them getting dragged into a relegation real dogfight. They'll be looking over their shoulders. But I think, again, what do you expect from Brentford? Brentford don't spend 50, 60, 70, 80, £100 million in transfers. They've had their best player out for most of the season. So what were we expecting from Brentford? They've got some of their best players away with the African Cup of Nations. They've had other players that have been out. I don't think there's any cause for concern for Brentford. I still think they've got
even with Wolves away, Liverpool home, and Man City away.
Well, other teams have got tough opposition as well.
Yeah.
So they're difficult games, but there's another 15, 16 games in the season, and I think they've got more than enough in them to get 35 points.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the TalkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. TalkSPORT.